Hello, Storyboard Ed audience, Storyboard Ed, and I have a little documentary I want to give you, and it's going to include some unseen storyboards. So let's get into it. So let's go back all the way to about 2012. I was filming a short film, my first short film that I tried to edit, and it was called Back to Class. It featured my two friends at the time. And we were just trying to tell a story, and I was filming on a really crappy camera. Not as fancy as something like this, or like modern cameras and stuff. More like a handheld 720p HD camera, and it was just like this. It wasn't that big. And what I ended up making was garbage. The short film was garbage. I'm gonna just say that. Around late 2016 or maybe very early 2017, I posted Back to Class on my YouTube channel. I had an opportunity to do a refilming of the saga. It was called Back in Time. I got my same two friends to help me do this project, and I was really glad with the result. Though I ended up kind of condensing a script I put together. They would have been about 20-minute episodes, a 3-part thing with 20-minute episodes kind of thing, and I ended up filming it that day and like everything that day in just one location, and I think the whole project ended up being like close to 10 to 15 minutes altogether with all 3 parts. It was very condensed and it was very cheesy, but it was definitely better than the original film. I can honestly say that much. So today I found this project here where I had a continuation planned after the 3-part thing. Now, I had storyboarded this in around 2017, and you can actually see me storyboarding it in a short video I put out where I showed me drawing it. It's called Life of a Storyboard Artist. That's what I called the video. It was just me storyboarding this project. So, alright, let's take a look through the saga that I storyboarded. Here's what I titled it: Markus and Steven, episode saga about time travel, 9 parts. So we start with an opening where Markus, I believe it is Markus, is running. Right up there. Opens the door. Then he comes across Steven, I believe. And his first response is, "What's up? There's something that I should show you." And he asks, "What is it?" He shows him a watch. And he goes, "A watch? It's not just a watch, it's a time machine." Wow. Yeah. He's sitting in his chair and stuff. And there's this awkward pause that happens. He's like, "Want to test it?" He goes, "Hell yeah!" He gets up and they both go across. I believe Steven's sitting on the stairs and looking at the watch, and then Markus says, "Go ahead." He messes with the watch and disappears. In a little waiting period. Oh, he's back. It's like, wow. He just showed up again. He goes, that was awesome. He's like, I know, right? Where'd you get the watch? Looks around. Be honest. I made it. You barely know how a TV works. At Kmart. Don't see many of those. Me either. But in all seriousness, where'd you get the watch? He's like, I stole it. So at this point, I'm doing like a reintroduction to the characters, reintroduction to how they found the watch, and time travel element. The nerds who build stuff down on Fifth Avenue had a prototype and I took it. He's like, I'm sorry. Can you forgive me? His response is, as long as you stop stealing. Starting tomorrow, I will stop. Tomorrow? Yeah, because there's some shoes I really want today. It stops now. He goes, fine. And there's the question of what now. He's like, give me the watch. The watch is handed over. Puts on the watch. Looks up. He says, grab my arm. There's that look of, what are you getting at? And he says the watch is there. So, grabs the arm. They both disappear. And, they're in the dark space now. They're confused about where they're at. And Marcus says, do you hear something? Steven goes, shh. He responds with, I think I hear someone. Marcus is like, Marcus says, I think I see something. Steven says, me too. In the distance they hear, hello, boys. They're surprised. Who are you? They both respond. It's like,
I'm the Time Master.
It's a cheesy deep voice. And it goes, to be continued. In responding to where I was thinking and stuff, it go is basically what the Time Master, he shows up because these characters are abusing a watch, a time travel watch. So the next part is called the Time Master. They ask, why are we here? And then the Time Master goes,
It's simple.
Simple.
Yeah. You're both here because I want you here.
They're both like, what? The background is all colored in here because to show it's dark and stuff in the environment. That's what I was trying to show. I was doing the storyboarding, so Marcus says, could you turn on the lights, please? Steven says, yeah, it's hard to see. Then the Time Master claps his hands, and the lights are on. He goes,
Better.
and Marcus goes, yep. Steven's wondering, how do we leave? Time Master goes,
Leave. Why would you want to leave?
because it isn't home for us.
Well, sorry, I can't let you leave.
They're both like, oh, jeez. In this sequence, they're kind of whispering to each other. So, look for an exit. Will do. Looking around. Sees a door, and he smiles. He says, found one. He points over there. So who's going? What do you mean? Someone needs to be a distraction. Steven goes, I'll do it. You're a brave man. And Steven says, you weren't going to volunteer, were you? Nope. Just for a little bit of humor. And then there's a running sequence. The door. And Steven's left behind going, what a douche. So I thought this part would be kind of humorous, mostly because when it comes to a bravery moment, they're not like on the same page on bravery. One's willing to risk it, the other one's just like, well, okay, good for you. And then he just runs off. I thought that'd be kind of humorous. The timekeeper responds with,
I know your friend left. So what are you gonna do?
and he just responds with, well, I don't know what I wrote here. He just responds with, heh, heh. Like a little bit of a light chuckle. I read that as something else, but it's heh. He responds with heh, like a little chuckle. And then his friend is waiting for him outside the door. And he's able to exit. And this is a little bit of a confrontation sequence here. He's like, so how'd it go? And he's like, I ran the hell out of there. What, you puss? And then he's like angry at this point because his friend left, and he's like, don't you call me that, you slimy douche. It's like, what did I do? You left me alone with a bad guy. Oh, that. Sorry? Do you have the watch? Yeah. He says, set your watch. He's like, okay. Sets the watch. He's like, are you ready? Yes. And they're like, let's go. And then it's a disappearing sequence. They're gone now. They've left. And now the timekeeper's out there. And you'd think he's lost. But he's like,
I've got them.
And then it's like, to be continued. I think the whole point of it was I wanted to give the impression that he knew where they were going, basically, and that he's not caught off guard that they'd escaped. The next part is called The Watch. Let's get into it. So there's this falling sequence here. They both land on the ground, and they both proceed to get up, and Steven asks, are you alright? Markus responds with, I'm okay. But I don't think the watch is. He's like, can you fix it? He's like, I'll try. And kind of back and forth. Markus responds, I just need somewhere to work. He's like, got any ideas? Steven thinks of something going, looks at a tree. He's like, how about that tree over there? Markus is like, sounds good. So he goes behind the tree. Steven's standing there. And Markus is kind of sitting and chilling. His, Steven notices a portal, and it's just like, He's kind of waiting around, and then he yells, Markus! Markus goes with what? He's like, come over here. He's like, why? And then Steven's like angry at this point, so he goes, get your ass over here. And Marcus is like, okay. They both run towards the portal. Marcus responds with, wow. They look at the portal and they're just like, whoa. Looks neat. And Steven's like, do we go inside? Marcus is like, well, no, it's sketchy. Steven's like, oh, it looks cool to me. Cool doesn't mean safe. Both looking at it. Kind of deciding what they want to do next. And Steven's like determined. He's like, I'm going in. Marcus is like, are you serious? Yeah. He runs right in. Doesn't care. He just jumps in. Flash sequence. Recently I put on this channel a video I call the pilot episode of The Edward Show, and it's about this kind of thing too, a little bit, where there's like a little portal that appears, and my character and my friend's character were deciding, do we go in or do we not? And then we do, and then there's a big flash and sequence. So I've actually kind of used the sequence in something else, which is kind of neat. The portal's there. Marcus is like deciding, and he's like, I guess I have to go in now. So he runs in, jumps in, and is gone. So there's a fade in here, and basically at this point they're in a whole different kind of area now, and in different time zones, so their outfits have to kind of, like through the portal, change to kind of match the era that they're in. And this part here, you'll see that Marcus is now dressed like a cowboy, and in the distance you hear Steven respond with, what took you so long? And he's like, I've been here for a week. And Marcus is like, a week? Want me to show you around? Says Steven. And Marcus is like, sure. Could you answer one question for me? He's like, sure. What the hell am I wearing? He's like, 1800s attire. He's like, what year is this? He's like, 1835. I don't know. He's like, wow. And they're like, yeah. And like the watches changed too, and I thought that would be a kind of cool element for the storyline. If the watch had changed to kind of fit the times. It'd be like a pocket watch now. And he's like, what the hell happened to the watch? And Marcus Steven's like, it's been modified. There's that whole like, wow. And Steven's gonna give Marcus a tour, and it goes to be continued. Then we get on to the next part. Wayward West. That's what I'd call it if I continued it. It's like, and I have a low budget, so in continuing it, I was thinking about trying to use a small set and only use it for like a little bit of filming, and then like leave the space. Like I don't have the kind of a budget where I could literally use a whole West set and have a good gunslinger shootout and stuff like that. I don't have that kind of budget. I have the lowest budget possible, like $2. So I don't think I was going to make anything really great with it. So some time has gone by now, and they've been there for like 2 months, and they're so tired of it. They're like tired of the place. And there's a part where they're kind of commenting on a certain location, and there's no location. It was a bummer. And Marcus comes up with a solution. And apparently Marcus has figured out that there's a watch expert. And that they need to take the watch expert, and have the watch expert basically help them along. And Steven's like, "Are we close?" Marcus goes, "Yep." And then, in fact, Marcus has found it right there. And Steven's like, "Wow!" And he's like, "That's a nice house." They're looking at it. And they walk towards the house. And they ring the doorbell. And they hear, "Who the hell rang my door?" And at this point, you can see Marcus is sweating. He says, "Markus and Steven." And there's just a little pause. And Steven's like, "I don't think the person's going to answer." And then the person does. And it's this woman who's like, "What can I help you with?" And they both comment, "Oh, she's hot." I don't know where the hell I was going with it. But she's like, "I can clearly hear you guys." As if, like, you know, they're trying to be subtle, but they lack subtlety. These characters, it's just kind of, I don't know, Bill and Ted kind of characters. "So, you're a watch expert," Steven says. And then she goes, "Yeah." And she's like, "Come inside, I'll take a look at your watch." Because they need the watch to get fixed, and she can help them out. And yeah, they're sitting in there with her and stuff, and they tell her their issue about it breaking down, and how, like, it's, you know, their issue with it. And she's like, give me a week and I'll fix your watch." And then 1 week later, they come by, again, ring the doorbell. They show up and they get their watch backs. And they ask, "Is it fixed?" And the woman says, "Yes, now get the hell out of here." And they're both like, "Whoa," caught off guard, and they just turn around and they leave. And at this point, both characters are sitting there to throw off their hats, and they're like, "You ready to go?" "You know I'm ready." You know, and it's like, oh, there's that sentiment that they're going to kind of miss the location that they're at, but that's just a false sentiment, because after that he goes, Marcus says, "Hell no, this place sucks, let's get going." And it's kind of like the funny little joke I thought I'd put in there, where it makes you think that they're going to feel one way and then they go another way, and I thought that'd be kind of humorous. So they get the watch out. And then they kind of jump into the water and they pop out. Actually, for the to be continued portion, Steven's the only one that pops out in the sequence. He calls Marcus, like, "Where are you?" And it goes, "To be continued." And then this part here is an interesting part that I came up with afterwards. It's called In Reverse. So basically, I think there's like a backward sequence that happens a little bit here. I don't know. It's a weird sequence here. So Steven's getting up and out. He's calling for Marcus, and Marcus is like, "I'm right here." And Marcus is soaked, and Steven's like, "You look weird." And then, like, Marcus is gone. It's like, "Where'd he go?" Steven's like, "Well, what's going on?" It's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird kind of sequence that has Steven trying to find Marcus, and every time he kind of comes close, there's no Marcus. It's one of those kind of weird sequences. And he tries to grab Marcus in one sequence because he just keeps disappearing and stuff. And it's just like, he gets this piece of paper and says, "Help me." This is Marcus. He's like, "What?" He's like, "I'll help you." And there's this remote on the ground. And what he does is he ends up clicking it, and it goes in reverse. So you get kind of a nice reverse shot, which is kind of interesting, I thought. And then Mike's like, "Where are we?" And Steven's like, "No idea." And he wonders if the watch is okay. Mark's response is, "Yeah." But I'm not sure if I am. His head starts shaking, and Steven steps back, and Marcus' head's shaking. It's a weird sequence. And it's revealed during this sequence that the Time Master has been posing as Marcus in the shot and stuff, and he's like, "Oh."
Hello, Steven.
He's like, "Where's Marcus?" And it's like, it's kind of a weird sequence of,
Right here.
and he's got him, it's kind of like his hostage and stuff.
All you have to do is give me the watch.
And Steve's like, "The watch?" And he has to kind of make a decision here, a rough kind of decision. I was trying to make some kind of weird twist going on with the characters, and it's like, I don't know where I'm going with this. Got like a mustache going on right now. I feel like Ned Flanders. So the Timekeeper has Marcus. And Timekeeper's pretty evil. And Steve's like, "I have the watch." And the Timekeeper's like,
Then give me the watch.
But in all honesty, I have no idea which one actually had the watch in the shot. I just kind of went with the whole, like, Steven's got a choice, and what will he do kind of deal. And he's like, "Yeah, you
Give me the watch, and you'll get your friend back."
And then Steven gives him the watch. He's like,
"Perfect. Now throw it over."
and then Steven, like, closes his hand, and he proceeds to throw the watch, and it whacks the Timekeeper. It knocks Timekeeper out, which is kind of an interesting concept, I thought. Like, he gets the watch, kind of, but knocks him out. And Marcus is like, Like, Steven's like, "Grab the watch." So Marcus does. He's like, "Got it." And they reunite. They're like, "You ready to go?" Because they're trying to still evade the Timekeeper in this aspect. And Steven responds with, "Go, where are we going?" "There," and he points forward. And Steven turns around to notice another portal. And then they have another exit sequence. Because they're jumping from one thing to another. And then the next part is called In the Loop. Infinite Loop. Where they return to a space and they keep getting killed off by the Timekeeper. Except for every time they get killed off, they get back up as if they just, like, you know, like, and while the killed versions of them is in the distance. So it's kind of like more and more of them are added. Like, each one that gets killed off there's another one that appears of them and stuff, and it's a weird sequence. I don't know where I was really trying to go with it. And they both kind of notice like the oddness of the sequence. And it's a weird kind of split screen kind of thing that I'm trying to do, where there's something weird about the environment that allows them to be killed off, but yet still be alive. It's a weird sequence. Looking back at it, I'm like, I don't know what the heck this is. It's a weird kind of a thing. They both get, yeah. I don't know where I was trying to go with it, to be honest. I mean, it's weird. It's a weird part of the story. I guess maybe I wanted to experiment with how I'd kill the characters off if I wanted to. And in a way, I got to explore several different options with them. And the timekeeper's like wondering what the heck's going on too, and it's just a weird sequence. And there's this kind of argument about giving them the watch again. And, yeah. They escape again. And then we go to Flash of White, and then To Be Continued. And then, I think I'm reaching the last part here. It's called Lost in Time. I think close to the last part. I think this is part 8. I think part 9 is coming out very shortly, because part 8 and part 9 are very, very short. So this part's called Lost in Time. They're in a white room, and they're wondering where the heck they are, and they're on a computer screen. A white room and a computer screen. And this part here, when they ask if anybody can hear them, there's my part right here. I respond with, "Hi." And this is kind of the part I'd give myself, honestly, if I'd actually filmed it. And it's like, "You're inside my computer." And they're like, "Oh, I think I know how to get you out." And they're like, "How?" And he just unplugs the computer. And they're like, they're out of the space now, and they're like, "Thanks, man." It was like, that's a neat sequence, I thought. I respond with, "Where are you two going next?" And they're like, "I don't know. However we're going, it's far away." They're like, "Yep." And so they exit the house, and they're just kind of walking around, and they go through another portal, and it's like, okay. I've used the portal element like way too much in this short film and stuff. You know. And they land, I think, like, oh shit. I gotta readjust. There's another part where the timekeeper plays a trick, and this time he's not pretending to be Marcus, he's pretending to be Steven. It's like, "You got me." Then we get to the last part, which is called Return to the Present, because they've gone through another portal again. They can kind of exit, and Steven is unconscious, and basically while Steven's out with the light bulb, Marcus decides to wait for his friend to wake up. And once his friend wakes up, and he's like, "Wow, that was a weird dream he had." And he kind of sums up the story by describing the dream a little bit, and we cut to the end sequence. And that was the end of their journey. Alright, so that's the ending. I hope that you enjoyed this video. It's cheesy, it's weird, but it's, you know, it's me sharing this project that I planned out. It took me quite a few days to actually do the storyboarding on it, and I started out with pencil and then retraced it with pen for certain sequences. And by the end of it, I was just drawing it with pen and stuff. I thought it was an interesting concept of a continuation. I think, in looking at some of the flaws of it, I don't think it was really needed that I repeat the whole them finding the watch sequence, or if I did, I should have made it a little bit shorter, and definitely made the ending shorter. I don't know, certain parts probably dragged down a little bit, but all in all, I think it was an interesting idea. So, thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see more videos, and have a good one.